morning and welcome to the Front Office Podcast. I'm your host, Marcus Cameron, and as always, we have our co-host, Sean Elwood, who will be joining the show in June. Um, got a little bit discussed this morning. The biggest thing is Game 7 last night. I think everybody tuned in. I think everybody but Heat fans were shocked at what we saw, and it wasn't a situation where I felt like the Celtics gave up, at least in the first 3.5 quarters. I thought they gave up probably about 5 minutes left to go in the game. Missoula pulled his starters, which I'm still puzzled on that. Like, why are you pulling them as if they have a game to prepare for tomorrow? They should stay out there and play. But Jason Tatum case, I understand, he's got an ankle injury. Let's discuss the Celtics. Mind-boggling is the word that I would use to describe them as a team. I think they have one of the most talented rosters in the NBA, and for the life of me, I can't understand why they can't be consistent. But, maybe it is coaching. I don't want to discredit a coach. I know coaching is tough at any level. Definitely at that level with everything else you have to deal with is super hard, I'm sure. But they were prepared. I thought they fought, but I thought Miami's defense was just top notch last night. I mean, to be playing a zone defense in the NBA that well and for it to give a team that many problems, that's pretty amazing. You gotta tip your hat off to the Miami Heat. They came out. They weren't affected by the crowd. They weren't affected by, the fact that they may be making history by being the first team to let a team come back from 3-0. I thought they came in and they punched them in the face from the jump. Even when the score was close, within 2 or 3 points in the first quarter, Miami just looked to be moving on a different level. I said Caleb Martin is going to get a bag. Big game from him last night. Huge game from him. 26 points. Shot the ball well. It seemed like every time he was open, it was going in. Duncan Robinson chipped in. I thought Bam was better last night. He had 14 and 10, but he had a lot of assists, a few blocks, played great defense. I think that's what they need Bam to do. And Jimmy Buckets was Jimmy Buckets. Jimmy Buckets was Jimmy Buckets. 28 big points, timely shots, really controlled everything on the floor. I think we got to start giving him credit as far as having a high basketball IQ as well. I don't really see announcers or analysts. They always just saying, "Oh, he's got that dog," and I'm not. He does have that, but he definitely has a very high basketball IQ, and you can see it the way they control and the way they lean on him. The Jason Tatum injury, he doesn't get a pass for the injury. I don't even think that's something that he could affect or he could control because the Miami Heat have been playing without Tyler Hero since the playoffs, since game 2 or maybe game 1 of the first series against the Bucks. I think he broke his hand. So the Celtics should have still been able to win because at least Tatum was on the floor. I thought Jaylen Brown was very bad last night. Very bad. He had 8 turnovers and 8 made field goals. At any point in time, that's just, you can't turn the ball over one person that much. I mean, 8 to 10 turnovers is low-key too many turnovers for any NBA team. And for one person to have 8 of them, not sure if you can jump back from that. Marcus Smart, I thought he played okay. I did think the Miami Heat did what I thought they would do, which is try to take him out the game as far as being able to make plays. When he got the ball, they were very aggressive, wasn't allowing him to set up. So then it fell on Tatum and Brown to make plays, and I just don't think that they're consistent playmakers. I still think Tatum is a superstar. I'm not going to let one game change my opinion on that because he's had a game 7 in these playoffs where he scored 51 and closed out the number 2 seed in the Philadelphia 76ers. You just lost to the 8 seed, but I think you lost to a team that has an agenda. Pay attention to the Miami Heat after the game. Look at the Denver Nuggets when they finished off the Lakers. Their mood is not we're super happy to be here. Their mood is we're not done. And I think those are just two teams with an agenda. We'll discuss or we'll preview that particular series, that finals, on Thursday before the game starts. I thought it was too many turnovers for the Celtics as well last night. I think they only had like maybe two more than the Heat. But the Heat, the way they play as a unit is very scary. If you really pay attention to it, like those other guys, I told you I was worried about them. I wasn't sure they're going to be ready for the moment. They absolutely were. I mean, they were. They came in. They did exactly what you want those guys to do. They shot the ball well. They played tough defense. They didn't turn the ball over. They all know their role. That Heat team, it's not a foregone conclusion that Denver has won the NBA championship. Now, let me just be clear. I'm going to make my pick on Thursday, but I'm not. It's not that I'm not sold on Denver. I just want to take a closer look at the Heat before I make that pick. I do still think Denver's the better team. They clearly have the better roster right now, but from what I heard, I think the Heat may be getting Tyler Hero back. If that happens, that's a different series. Fallout for the Celtics, they're going to make some changes. I'm not sure if they're going to actually change the core as far as Brown and Tatum and Smart. Horford clearly is older. I still think he has a lot left in the tank, but they're going to review that option. I think Brogdon is under contract. Smart's under contract. But if you're the GM, you just got to the NBA Finals last year. You lost in the Eastern Conference Finals this year, and honestly, like you lost to a team you shouldn't have lost to. No disrespect to the Heat. The Heat are a great team, but they're the eighth seed. You can't lose to them. Not in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's not going to be something that is going to go over well in the summer when they're discussing, team futures and things of that nature. Jaylen Brown, I haven't watched any sports shows this morning. I was trying to hurry up and get this recorded before I got to, go off to work, and I didn't want to be influenced. They're probably going to kill him this morning and say how bad he is, and he's just not that guy, and he's not this, and he's not that. And, he did. He showed it last night. But he can bounce back from this. He's a young player. Those are things that are correctable. Those are things that he can work on. You can watch film. You can understand how to accept a double team and make the right pass. You can understand you can't dribble through everything. I thought when you play basketball at a young age, there are two types of defenses, man-to-man and zone. And I think every coach will tell you you can't beat the zone dribbling. I know what that sounds like. You got people like Kyrie Irving, people who have amazing handles and they can dribble through anything. But I think what they were talking about in a percentage-wise, you're better when you're moving the ball. And they went away from it. They had a good layout. Either you have Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum at the free throw line, ready to accept the pass, take on, double teams and pass out of that. But the Heat were just betting on them not being aggressive and taking what the defense is giving them and trying to make a play. Celtics, last two games, horrible from the three-point line. I couldn't understand why they kept shooting it last night. After the first quarter and you go 3 for 13, I'm not saying don't take the wide open looks, but maybe let's hold off on the step backs. Maybe let's hold off when the guy's closing on you. Maybe give a pump fake, get a better shot. That defense that the Heat played last night, it was classic. But the Heat, they played. They came in. They were ready to play. Spoelstra had a really good game plan. You got to give him and his staff a lot of credit. Those guys are ready to play, and that is the definition of hostile environment. The complete definition of it. So, I'm not sure if Jaylen Brown is going to be there. I think he will. But I think the GM is definitely going to listen if people want to trade. I think he's got 1 year left on his deal. And If he's got 1 year left on the deal, if I'm the Celtics and you're not sure whether you want to re-sign him or he's going to be there, then you have to, you have to actually consider trading him, because if he becomes a free agent, then you get nothing if he decides to leave. So that's a conversation for them in the summertime. The Heat, like I said, Caleb Martin, definitely going to get a big bag. Gabe Vincent was big. He continues to impress me, no matter the game or the situation. He comes out, he plays well. I think he was 4 for 10. A lot of people are like, oh, he only had 10 points. Yeah, he shot 40% in a closeout game on the road. That's pretty good. He played good defense. He was effective. The team motto of the Heat is a winning formula. And Jimmy's the head of the snake. But they also have other pieces that can hurt you, like really hurt you. I thought Caleb Martin really hurt the Celtics last night. Maybe if he has 16 instead of 26, it's a different game. Maybe if he doesn't shoot the ball as well, it's harder for the Heat to come in there and blow him out. I said if it's a blowout, it's definitely the Celtics, and I was completely wrong. I did not expect the Heat to go in there and blow them out. I didn't think the Celtics would shoot it that bad at home either. But, Elwood's disappointed. I saw he posted something on Facebook this morning congratulating the Heat, which is a classy move. A lot of you don't know how to be classy fans. Like, if you lose with some class. Of course, you're not happy about it. Lose with some class. But he's a Celtics fan. I'm not a Celtics fan, but that was my pick. So the Front Office Podcast, unfortunately, is out of the finals as far as our original picks. Now, because this is a world that we can go in and we can pick whoever we want to win, we will discuss and try to pick a winner on Thursday. But I also want to give a shout out to some Heat fans that I know. Rod Cornelius, Donnell Palmer, DJ Louis V. These are consistent Heat fans, and which is why I'm going to give them a shout out to them. Congratulations. Stand-up Heat fans, no matter good, bad, they've always been Heat fans. So I can respect that. I can respect that to the max. The rest of y'all can fuck off. Celtic fans, the world's not over. You still got a great core. You still have a superstar in Jason Tatum. They're going to build around him. Jaylen Brown is there at least for another year, but they do have to get a playmaker. And I had a friend tell me about that. They got to get a playmaker. Smart is a good player consistently, and I think they take the ball out of his hands a lot, probably for good reasons. They see something in practice I don't, but he's got to be better at making plays than Brown. Brown can't make plays right now, and I thought they got it exposed a little bit in the finals last year for the same thing. Jason Tatum, they were basically making him make plays, and it's hard when that's not just your natural position. It's not what you've been, doing. It's not saying that you don't have the talent or the capability to do so. But at that level, at the highest level, when you run up across a buzzsaw like a Miami, you need a consistent playmaker. You need a guy who sees immediately what they're doing, or they can watch film and really break that down. And Derek White, unfortunately, I thought he got going a little too late. It was like mid-third quarter, and they were already down 18. I thought he should have been a little bit more aggressive from the jump. I think the Celtics role players needed to be aggressive from the jump. Tatum and Brown, it's a given that we know that they have to deliver. But it's easier to deliver if your role players are playing well from the very jump. And at home in a Game 7, you should be playing well. You should be shooting the ball well. That's just the expectation. But it's a make or miss league. Nobody's going into that game like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go 0 for 7 from 3-point line. They're trying. It just didn't work out. And a part of that is not shooting the ball well, and a big part of it is Miami Heat's defense. I don't want that to get lost. Like, let's give Miami all the credit that they deserve in this win. Jimmy Buckets was special. Like I said, Bam played better. Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent, Duncan Robinson. Kyle Lowry hit some really timely shots, even when they were up and the Celtics were trying to make a run. I think it was like a pump fake from around the free throw line area, and Jaylen Brown was on him. It was just shot clock running down, knocked it down. It's a big shot. he misses, maybe the Celtics get a rebound, go down, get an easy basket. There was just nothing easy for the Celtics last night, and it's not the end of the world for them. But I kind of thought they were in trouble. I saw something on Instagram, and it said that Miami Heat had already bought tickets for Denver. That's a mindset. That's a mindset. Like it wasn't even a question whether they lost, won. We're buying tickets because this is our expectation, and I think a lot of people don't understand how that works. But that's a team, that's a dog mentality, and that's the culture that they have down there in Miami. So big shout out to the Miami Heat for making it to the finals. We will preview the finals either tomorrow or the episode may come out on Thursday. We're still learning how to upload, and sometimes YouTube is a little funky with the uploads, and it may just be my equipment, but we'll try to get it out before the game starts. Again, Tees and Trees. Keep in mind that's gonna be coming soon with marked up clothing. Hopefully we can get a video from Elwood apologizing to the masses for the bad pick. It's his team. He's not gonna apologize, but we kind of want him to stand on business and get out here so y'all can see him. So if you want to roast him, you can roast him. Me too. I like I said, I went with the Celtics. 2-1 on the year since we started the podcast. Not bad. We're gonna see what the finals hold. I think it's gonna be a great series, though. I do. I'm not sure on who I'm picking yet, but I do think it's gonna be a great series. I think it's gonna be a lot better than I thought it was. I personally, I think I told somebody at work, I don't want to see the Miami Heat play the Denver Nuggets, just because Denver is so good. But Miami showed me something last night that they are that team. They're not an 8 seed. They're not a team that you can play around with. They're capable of beating Denver. And not because their roster is better, just their sheer will. But I will say Denver is on a mission too. And I think that's why it's going to make for such a great series. But we will review that we'll review the finals on Thursday. I didn't have a lot of time. I didn't want to do a huge, long video on this one. We'll try to splash it in together as we can. Thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate every like, subscribe. Please keep subscribing, keep liking the videos. If you have any questions or, topics that you want us to cover, make sure you put it in the comments, and we will do our best to accommodate. Thank you as always. Y'all be good. Peace.